Time Person of the Year, 2-time running, Donald J. Trump.
There really was nobody else you were going to pick this year.
Apparently, Josh, they were considering Kamala Harris, which in reality would have been the funniest thing ever if they would have, after her losing, been like Kamala Harris, Person of the Year.
Well, what does it mean that they were considering it? I mean, who let that out? I mean, like the thing is, if she had been elected the first female president of the United States, she would have been the Person of the Year. That would have been a pretty big marker. The fact of the matter is, Donald, and first of all, for me, I'm still old school. It's not that I'm misogynist. It's Man of the Year. I don't care if they change the Person of the Year.
Josh.
It's still Man of the Year to me, and I don't care. I'm not going to listen to Time Magazine. You know what, though? I got to say, this is now the second, 2 times now that he's won it. I've only won it 1 time back in 2006. I'm really hoping to get another one in the bag here.
What?
Yeah, didn't you know? I won Time Magazine Man of the Year back in 2006.
Do I need to look up the cover?
Come on, bro. I'll get there one of these days. I mean, if Stalin can do it twice, so can I.
Gosh, his oldest joke. Come on, Pogo. What was 2006?
I don't know.
Person of the Year.
It's you.
The cover was a big mirror.
Oh, no, it was a computer.
Oh my gosh,
it was a computer.
That's so dumb.
Oh, a computer. It was like you.
That's so dumb.
It was lame. It was a cop out. But Mercer will use it until the day he dies. He'll be on his deathbed being like, but I was Person of the Year.
Oracle Lopatoski, Time Man of the Year.
All right.
Let's keep it moving.
But I mean, like, honestly, as we were talking about in the election coverage, the fact that he pulled off this upset upon upsets. I mean, you have to remember, obviously, 13 days left in his first presidential term, with the disgrace of the January 6th riot that went out of control. The people that were put in prison for like crazy terms, I'm not justifying that. I believe most of them should be pardoned. Okay, but I'm saying it was embarrassing, kind of disgraceful moment. Part of it was that Twitter took, the previous ownership took his video down when he said, "Stop, go away, break it up." Social media, they're a bunch of liars. So, but the fact of the matter is, he was impeached again, a second time. The only president ever been impeached a second time with 13 days left in office. And he turns that around. And not only does Ron DeSantis was riding so high after the midterm elections. I mean, he won the first election as, governor, by the tiniest margin. I mean, barely.
Half a point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then he comes back 4 years later, and Republicans ran through Florida in a triumphant victory. He was riding high. And but he didn't get there. I remember thinking, Trump was just he put his head down. He put those videos together where he reached to the audience. He understood it was a different kind of campaign. He won the primary. It was a contested primary, and he won it the easiest that anyone has ever won a contested primary. And I remember thinking the summer before, it was already over. And then he goes on to win. I mean, again, they threw everything at the kitchen sink. They put him in jail. He spent weeks fighting.
Tried to kill him twice.
He got his mug shot. Yeah, assassination attempts twice. And then he still pulls off and he didn't win in a whisker like he did the last time in 2016. He won pretty decisively. It's I don't know what the final totals are, but he's won by 1.7% or something like that. It was a solid victory, not a landslide, but a decisive victory. And he won all 7 of the swing states, and it's amazing to see.
It's not just about winning the election, too. I think that in addition, and the fact that he defeated not 1 but 2 Democratic nominees, right? We've got Joe Biden. I mean, they were willing to take down the Democratic process and ride roughshod over it and put Kamala Harris up to try to take this guy down. And the whole campaign was, he's a fascist. He's evil. I mean, they had everything on their side and they still lost. But not only that, as soon as he was elected, we started seeing changes globally in behaviors from foreign governments, leaders of world powers. They started changing their behavior. We saw changes in behavior from, I will talk about this later, Bezos, Zuckerberg. We've got he is already effectively
huge ripple effects,
changing the narrative. And that is so not only did he win, but in winning, he's proving the force of the Trump movement. He's no longer just an aberration, but he has proven he is a movement that's here to stay and has power even before he takes office. So,
and so I think it was the
obvious choice. Erica.
A couple observations about this Time article. One, as Josh mentioned, Joseph Stalin has won it twice. Actually, Nature is Healing. Taylor Swift won it last year with a cat picture. Trump's back. However, Time doesn't always.
Yeah, she was a cat lady, literally.
Time doesn't always do these as kind of positive profiles. And I read through the article. I would not necessarily consider this a positive profile. I did the due diligence of reading the 2020 People of the Year, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Much more favorable review, of course. But one part that really stuck out to me was this 72 days.
Before we get into that real quick, yeah, your point for the audience, it's not necessarily meant to be an honorific title. It's like whoever had the biggest impact on the news. So.
Right. They put Stalin in the 1930s, but rightly so. He had the biggest impact.
Right, because exactly, impact-wise. And you see their editorial nature. But I also think Trump is incapable of taking an iconic picture. Where's my favorite?
You're saying he's incapable of not taking
iconic. Kissing of the flag from the Republican National Convention. I loved it.
All right,
that's what he did. Yeah.
I'm going to leave this on the screen as I read the 72 Days of Rage. Okay, I thought this was probably stuck out the most in the article. Trump had a ready explanation for his improbable resurrection. He even has a name for his climactic final act. I call it 72 Days of Fury, he says. And an interview got underway. We hit the nerve of the country. The country was angry. I wasn't just talking MAGA faithful. Trump harnessed deep national discontent about the economy, immigration, and cultural issues. His grievances resonated with suburban moms and retirees, Latino and Black men, young voters and tech edgelords. While Democrats estimated that most of the country wanted a president who would uphold the norms of liberal democracy, Trump saw a nation ready to smash them, tapping into a growing sense that the system was rigged.
Nailed it.
In this Time article, they even showed Trump's changing coalition. And I mean, I've seen this in many different forms. Every time I see it, it surprises me, especially when you look at Latino men coming from his 2016 defeating Clinton, being plus 31 Democrat. Visual. Latino men moved 41 points to the right, plus 10, 2024. That is just an outrageous.
Since 2016, that's what this is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everywhere moved. I mean, voters of color, no degree, 26 to Trump. Latino women, 25 to Trump. Voters of color, college degree, 17 to Trump. I mean, just really the only places he lost ground were rural, which he lost 3 points of momentum, which is like nothing. White women.
Margin of error on that, yeah.
White women, no degree. He lost by 1 point.
No, these are still plus gains. These are still plus gains.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. White men, no degree, lost by 8 points.
That was 8 points. Yeah, that one I'm actually a little kind of, okay, what can we do?
White women, college degree, lost 10 points on that one.
No shock there.
And then white men,
those
college
educated
degree,
women.
He lost 12.
So we just got to start taxing college degrees.
Yep, 100%.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting parts of this article. I mean, as you guys are saying, the political comeback, of course. They talked about how he came to his abortion stance. They talked to how he came to his early voting stance. The RFK Jr. endorsement I thought was funny. Basically, he didn't want the sugar high to last after the DNC. So he said, what can we do? Brought over RFK, said, do you want to lose or do you want to actually do something in the country? And that one worked pretty well.
Love it.
Well, they stepped on Trump during his convention. So, you know, like this is the thing. Like I really, truly believe this. 90% of the time when there are unwritten rules or mores or customs and they get broken, 90% of the time they're broken by Democrats. And I'm being generous because it's probably like 99. It's probably like 105%, honestly.
Yeah.
So this idea that, you know, we each have a political, you know, each party has a political convention. You know, basically your job is when it's your opponent's convention, you shut up and you don't make news. But then they stepped on Trump during his thing, because then there was the whole controversy whether or not, you know, Biden would, you know, this or that. And it was just like, what are you doing? You're totally stepping on on Trump's.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, so I figure Trump's like, oh, you're going to do that to me?
I'll grab RFK right after your convention.
Exactly.
I'll raise you one.
What's the Mad Men quote, Erica? Says Don Draper maxim, if you don't like what's being said, change the conversation.
That's right.